coming up on today's episode of Drinks at Dana's. This scene, I loved it. Obviously, like this scene was like made for me. That's like a huge Bette and Tina fan and obsessed with the L word. My one other gripe with this episode: could someone please not have moved Jennifer Beals' hair out of her face?
Oh, I know. I saw that and I was like, I would be pissed if I was into this couple, but luckily I'm not, so I didn't care.
Welcome back to Drinks at Dana's. We're back as the L Word Generation Q Season 3 is also finally back. I'm here with Chris and Jess from the L Word Online. How are you guys doing?
Hello. Yes, it's been a minute.
Excited to be back.
Me too.
Me too.
And what an episode to come back on. But we'll get into that. So I'm Ash Silver, and just so you know, you can listen to this Apple, Spotify, all those usual places, and we also will have the video version on my YouTube channel this year. So if you want to see the visual piece, you can go over to my channel, and everything, Chris, Jess, the L Word Online, our Instagrams are all linked down in the show notes as well. So I suppose we'll just dive right in because there's so much to talk about. And we're going to be talking about episode 1, season 3, that's titled Last Year. And we picked up right where we left off for once with the L Word. How did you guys feel about the resolution?
Was it you saying it last season that they left off a bit at the end of the original finale? Do you reckon this was supposed to be at the end of last year?
I have an answer
they
for
cut
you.
it in half.
I spoke to Marja. There's an interview on my channel the day of the finale, and I basically said to her, "So what's going to happen?" And she was like, "We haven't decided yet." So then flash forward. When I was on, and I'm going to say this a lot, when I was on the L Word set in September,
take a shot.
Yeah, don't.
You will not be happy at the end of this.
No, you won't be awake.
Or I will be really happy at the end of this.
They released, the little teaser that had a little bit more of the scene, but not the whole scene. They released that the morning of the day I went to set. So it was like really fresh in my head. And I asked them, because some people had messaged me and said, is this like the same question you just asked? And I asked them and they said, no, like there was literally 10 seconds more, but this was all shot this year at like pretty much everything that you see. So it wasn't like leftover or anything like that because of all the changes that are going on the show, behind the scenes, casting, all of that stuff. They made this decision that yes, like we're gonna get them back together in this episode, but that decision was also made like this year.
Interesting.
Oh man, I don't. It's hard to talk about how I feel because when it started, I think I wanted to like it. I wanted Bette and Tina to be like a Ross and Rachel thing where like I was really excited about it, but I was kind of just pissed off. I hate all the cheating storylines. Like everyone's always cheating or thinking about cheating or planning on cheating or planning on breaking up with their person to get with someone else. Even if it's not cheating, it's like, oh, but I'm thinking about someone else and more interested in someone else, even though I'm supposedly in a committed relationship. So that whole interaction with like Bette and Tina, the last year part, just made me angry because I'm like, you're with Carrie, like stop.
But they'd broken up.
Yeah.
Had they?
Well, that's what I thought too. I actually had to text Ash and be like, Ash, had they broken up at this point? I'm confused. So apparently they were broken up.
Yeah, and at that party in the finale, when like Carrie comes up and like Bette's basically like,
didn't they just like kind of
have a fight?
Argument?
Yeah, that's what I thought.
Well, I mean, you could probably interpret it that way, but she was like, I can't marry you and stuff. This is why I'm excited for our episode, because I love us arguing about. But you guys know, everybody knows, I don't want to be, but I am a sucker for Bette and Tina. Like, it doesn't matter what literally it could be 50 years from now and the same, and I'll still be there. Still, I loved the whole like Bette screaming at the end. It just brought me back to the whole Tina in
Yes, that
season
was
2 of
very
the original.
reminiscent.
Which I think was good because then throughout the episode you're seeing like, yeah, she was kind of just the way she was always, but then hopefully there isn't another stage down the road where she's like screaming at Tina when she's walking out of the house. But you never know.
For me, I was quite surprised that Tina admitted back that she was in love with her as well. I was like, oh, okay, game on.
What a great line though from Tina. I've loved you my whole life. I just wish you were better at it.
I've loved you my whole life. And I've loved you all of mine. I just wish that you were fucking better at it.
Yeah. Fucking amazing. I loved that.
That sums up their whole relationship pretty much.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Can't you just be better?
Yeah. I mean, I was like happy when Tina kind of mic dropped and walked away then, instead of being like, oh, I love you too, you know? Like,
yeah.
Because they could have got it on then and that could have been their reunion scene right then. Yeah.
It just would have been the same that we've seen like time and time again. So I do like the total angle that they went with here. I think it made sense. And yeah, I did really like that moment from Tina too, and shows that she's, because season 1 Tina of the original would never say something like that. So yeah, I thought it was great. I loved it. And then so after the amazing Bette and Tina scene, and I also will give props for them picking up right where we left off, and then we seem to be getting a bit of a timeline going here, and we've got like holidays coming up and things, so we then skip forward a year and we're probably around August 2022. They're a little bit behind us in real life, and I'm just assuming that from like moving into college, that's normally the month. And we kind of check in with everybody, which is normally what they do in the first episode. We've got, everybody, and that's including Dani and Gigi, who is in one of their 2 scenes from this episode.
Don't even get me started. The whole episode I was like, where's Gigi? Gigi, where are you?
Confined to a bed. Like she's segregated from everyone else.
When Dani and Gigi are in bed together and they seem like, oh, this is the couple we love. They're perfect.
Yep.
Mm-hmm. And then they start talking about, oh, we should just live together instead of commuting. Did you think Dani was immature in that scene when Gigi says she has to like check with Nat? Or
no, I'm like
whose side were you?
Oh, I did.
Well, they've been together for a year now. But they've been together a year now, so they should have already.
She has kids though. I don't have kids, so if I was dating someone who had kids and I wanted to move in with them, I would find it perfectly reasonable if they said, hey, I need to check with them. If the other parent is a normal, sane person who I know has good judgment and who I know is like not out to like get me or anything like that, like Nat's a nice person and they have small children too. Like as I've said, my brother is like my kid. Like I have raised him. He is always with me. And when I was dating someone very seriously, like they knew that was the deal. Like he was with me, and it's just one of those things. Like I don't have he's at university now, so I wouldn't think that was odd if I would. Well, listen, I'd take Gigi and I'd let her ask Nat anything she wants. So
of course I want to live with you. Yeah. But let me talk to Nat because of the kids.
Yeah, but like, how would that affect you being a parent to the children living somewhere else? You would still do exactly everything the same.
But their kids are going to come over.
Yeah, they obviously have shared custody.
Yeah.
I didn't think about that.
Kids are going to come live with you a few days a week or however they're custom. I mean,
you can tell I don't have kids.
Right. You're like,
I was like, how does that affect anything?
The kid's going to be there.
I was just imagining Gigi having to pick them up and from school and things like that and drive them home. But yeah, no, it makes more sense that they would be
to her home.
Yeah.
right.
I'm pretty sure Dani would be cool with the kids coming over. I'm pretty sure the kids would have already been coming over. Maybe.
But the thing that's an interesting story. Like Gigi is 2 years older than me, and Ari Mandy, I'm assuming, is supposed to be the same age as Dani. So Gigi's 36-ish, and Dani's 26, 27, and Gigi has kids. And it's if I don't go out looking to date 26-year-olds, but Dani like has the money, has it together. That's an interesting kind of story about this person that I want to be with, has these 2 small children that are big responsibilities and will be for years to come. How does that kind of work? But instead we're getting this literal car crash.
It just feels like they're rushing them to the end. Like, okay, well, you're out the door now. Bye.
Oh, yeah.
See you. Goodbye.
Yeah. Yeah.
I
It was
mean,
a bit of that spoiled only child mentality kind of came back up in Dani in this episode, I felt.
Yeah.
Okay, I can see it a little bit. Because especially later on where she's like, someone asks her about it. Was it Micah or someone?
Yeah.
How
Yeah,
did
I
it go?
think
And
so,
she's
yeah.
like,
Oh, she was like, I have
oh
to
yeah, she
ask
goes, yeah, I have to
that.
check with that.
Yeah. And last season we were saying, like, I liked Dani because it felt like Gigi was kind of making her better, but Gigi was like a bit of like the Yoda, like she has it all together, and was kind of making Dani like think about things, and so yeah, this was a bit of a reverting to previous behavior, it felt like. I generally don't like time jumps in TV shows, in stories in general, because to me it feels like a cop-out of like, why didn't we get to see all these stories,
Yep.
But the most unrealistic thing to me in the L Word universe is that we jump forward a year and almost every single couple is still together. I'm like,
yeah.
They don't last a year? Come on.
Yeah.
On the other side of that, I was thinking, how have we skipped ahead a year and Bette and Tina have not got back together? Like, they both admitted they loved each other, and then all of a sudden they just left it at that. Like, it seemed weird. I feel like the next time they saw each other, it would have been awkward, and then they would have had a chat, and then it would have yada yada yada.
Yeah,
so it just seemed weird.
That she can't help herself.
Yeah, can you imagine her thinking about that for a year? That Tina's still in love with her?
They do kind of seem like the ones. They seem like they haven't really interacted.
Yeah, because
that's the thing. They have to some degree, because like they have a child and they have like their best friends are their shared friends. So just putting this out there early. I'm sure no one is shocked to hear the news that I fucking loved this episode, but my 2 gripes.
Is it your favorite so far?
Yes. Oh my god, yes. I will say this again next week, but one of my gripes I will save to the end scene. And I don't want to be one of those people that's like, oh, I've always got something to complain about, because I really don't. I'm the most positive person.
No, that's me. That's me. I'll do the complaining.
Dani and Gigi is my gripe. They have the potential to be a defining couple of the series. Like Gigi is your dream score. Like, that's a character that, okay, not every single person, but everybody, most people can get behind. The actor is phenomenal and can be not only a lead, but has that it factor that like Jennifer Beals has. You can use her as your show lead. And we just had a year of them together, and we're coming back right at the point where they're gonna fuck it all up.
I know. This feels like Shane and Carmen all over again.
Yes.
And it is annoying, because that was a very new relationship when we left last season.
2 weeks.
Like, yeah. So we didn't get to see any of the good stuff, We
got the carrot
yada 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 over the best bits.
That's what I'm thinking.
And Dani was like arrested at the end of the season too, and it's like, so what happened there?
Oh yeah, all we know is that it was a hardest year of her life or whatever. But we're like, how?
Yeah, I need y'all to remind me what happened at the end of last season because I did not rewatch it. Like I realized I should have.
Wasn't there was a previously on? Did you not watch the previously?
I mean,
that's why they have that for you.
Marsha does the previously on the L Word too. That's like a thing Eileen used to do.
Yeah, with her like previously on.
Yeah. I mean, they didn't include a lot of the stuff. They didn't include the Dani stuff in the previously, I don't think. But I was so excited to get to the episode. But Dani was arrested for her dad's court thing. But I think they realized, because also, you know, like this podcast, we do go into more than just the episode, like what's going on in the show and things. And when I was on set, I mean,
God, I really need to have some shots.
I'm like ring a bell or something.
I'm gonna make a little audio thing. Marsha did like a little sit down with me, and I mean, I knew this going in, and probably most people do, but they did like a big change up of the staff. And I don't know this for a fact, but it's of my opinion that Showtime kind of was like, okay, we need to go in the direction that we want to be going in, like, and that's why we saw such swooping changes. All the writers changed. Like Marsha even got a new assistant, Monica, who's going to come on our podcast later on in the season. And there was when I was there, they also were telling me, you know, this show is really expensive to make, and pretty much the only reason that it quickly got a season 3 is because the cast's so big, it shoots in LA, like there's lots of things with the costs that go into it, is because it is so successful when it comes to social media. And it is things like this that really help it, and all the YouTube and Instagram
You're
and all
welcome,
that stuff.
Showtime.
Yeah, you're welcome.
Yes, we are open to sponsorship.
But I think that, I don't know this bit for a fact, but taking all that into account and everything else, it just seems that they went into whatever, you know, sort of interim between, are we getting a season 2 and 3? And yes, we are getting a season 3, but we need to move in this direction. We need to have some changes, you know, because this episode really, really, we were going at a snail's pace with some stuff. Like Bette and Tina, we spent 2 seasons basically not really accomplishing a lot. And in one episode, they're back. Like, that's a big swooping change.
Mm-hmm.
And there's a lot of other things where they've pivoted. So I think that is reflective more of what, I'm not saying everything the fans want is going to happen, but I think a lot of stuff will. And they're taking some things on board and other things not. But that's just what I think.
Yeah, this episode was all about romantic relationships. I mean,
find the one. That's the
all those little
motto.
Yeah.
Oh, except for that
small storylines.
Yeah, except for that in your face thing of Alice having sex with that dude. I was like, I was like, why?
Meanwhile, I'm like, yes, she's actually bisexual. They're finally showing that she's bisexual.
There are nicer ways to show that.
There's a lot of bi content in this episode. Let me just say.
Another thing I thought was, damn, Leisha Haley is hot and confident, because Jesus. Like, Jesus Christ. I love her though. That's the other thing. There was so much stuff in this episode that was just like, this is what we've been wanting. Like, Alice and Shane were like them again. Like, I feel like there was just the little comedy factor with them that we weren't necessarily getting, and like all of Alice's little, like, even just like her little faces and stuff like that. I felt like I was back.
Yeah, I like their friendship. It translates well onto the screen.
Yeah. I mean, it's a pretty authentic, I think,
yeah,
too.
friendship.
So.
Yeah.
So next we're moving on to the college move-in day with Bette, Tina, Alice, and Shane. Alice and Shane, I do like Shane. Don't be weird.
They're so funny.
She's like, you're being
She's like,
weird.
Don't make it. Whatever you do, don't make it weird.
Whatever this is, don't make it weird.
Hi. Are you being weird? No. Yeah, I am. I'm going to work on that.
This show really is a comedy at its heart, so I'm glad they're
Yeah,
getting
this
their-
was a great comedic scene because I love the collective, like, when as soon as Bette's car gets rear-ended, it's like,
Yeah,
oh,
they're like
yes, crash, and they're
bracing
all like,
themselves. Yeah, they're like, what's gonna happen? Oh my god, she's
Right,
gonna
and
rip
it's
that poor
like-
girl.
We already saw the classic Bette scream the F word at the very beginning of this episode, and it's
Yeah.
like, oh, it's gonna happen again. This is where it happens. This is where Bette starts screaming. And
Yeah,
it's
she
just like
attacked that man. Season
not
2.
I feel like all of our mouths probably dropped open, but in addition, I love the fact that like Alice and Shane and Tina are all like, what's happening? Like, who's body snatched Bette?
Maybe she
I don't
saw it was a
even-
Tesla and was like, "Gotta take this out, baby."
Yeah,
But
maybe.
Jennifer Beals did say at that interview, the day before yesterday, now that she was like, "Yeah, Bette wouldn't still be driving a Tesla." So, I did like the continuation line of Angie going to University of California, but I would have paid so much money to see Phyllis, Jane Lynch turning up, Joyce Wishnia turning up on the campus, just walking around as if she was still working there. Phyllis Kroll.
Yeah, you have to remind us because we have no idea.
I was looking at both of you and I was thinking, they have no idea what I'm
You
talking
can tell
about.
when our faces go blank. We're like, what?
Blank slate. Remember when Bette worked at CU and I was going to say the headmistress, the chancellor, Phyllis Kroll, season 4.
Vaguely,
And
vaguely,
16
yes.
years since we saw that episode.
I just remember
Jane
Sybil
Lynch.
Shepherd being on the show.
Yeah,
I had to
Jane
announce
Lynch,
it.
the lawyer. Yeah, I think Jane Lynch is booked and busy, but yeah, I would have loved to see that. So next we go to lots of Sinley scenes. And first, Finley's coming back to the bungalow, and Sophie and Micah are there. And then Sophie and Finley go to the park, and she does like her little apologies and stuff like that. Or what's it called? Reparations.
Amends.
Sorry.
Amends, yeah.
Amends. Yeah.
I thought it was sweet, her amends, though.
Yeah.
How did Sophie and Finley wind up at the end of last season?
They were at the rehab, and I remember
she
Alice
dropped her
said
off.
she'd pay for a year of rehab.
Which
and
is
then she was like,
ridiculously
I know,
long.
I was
I'm
thinking,
like,
I
is
know.
that a
just
normal
getting
amount
out
of
rehab?
time?
No, it's like a month, like maybe 3 months
Yeah.
is like really extreme.
I know like
year?
programs where people only go in, basically this is more like a drug one, but they go in for like 4 days just to
Yeah,
detox,
yeah.
and then you do like
Yeah, so she
outpatient.
should be like, sweet.
Yeah.
If she's been in for a year.
Were they together at the end of it? Did they take a break? Like the whole thing
I
was
think
weird.
they did take a
And-
break.
And it's doubly weird if like it's been a year since you've seen each other. Like that, it didn't really make sense to me.
Yeah.
Which kind of explains that text that we see on Sophie's phone. I was like,
Yeah.
she'd been busy while Finley was in.
And there's also in the
That's gotta be-
trailer, like, oh, Jess doesn't watch the trailer, but in the trailer,
I did.
Oh, you watched the trailer this year, okay? there's like Sophie with other people, and it looks like more than friends. And there's a really split second flash of someone falling in the pool in, I think,
Yes, I couldn't figure out who that was.
It's Sophie. She's wearing, she has the same hairstyle and this green dress, and that's all
But then
you can see.
all you can see at the side of the pool is Micah and someone talking.
But it's so the day they filmed that was the day that, because like you guys, I follow a lot of the crew people, and someone posted a picture or a video that I took it because there was Fletcher, and that's when, and whenever they made the Fletcher announcement, everyone was like, didn't they already announce this like a month ago? And I was like, no, we just knew a month ago, but they didn't announce it yet. But the crew put loads of stuff up those days that they filmed, so I think it's like a big party with like everyone who's still around in episodes 7 or 8, because it's like a pool, and then they have like mirror balls and like inflatable stuff. Like,
probably
it's
just
huge.
Another fundraiser of something.
Yeah, that's the vibe I got.
Yeah, it was hard. It was hard for me to tell if they were supposed to be friends or in a relationship, at least at the beginning. But I also, kind of knowing what we know about Gigi and Dani, I like all of a sudden I'm like, oh yeah, I remember how much I loved Sophie and Finley together. And I know you were not all about that, but I was like, their chemistry as friends is so good. And
Yeah,
so I'm
friends.
like,
I love them as
can like
besties.
this. Yeah, but I was like, oh, I think I can like this couple again.
I prefer them as besties. I like them as besties, where they were all like each other's wing person and stuff. But I don't really see them as a couple together.
Yeah, I really like Finley.
Yeah, I want Finley to branch out.
Yeah.
I like Finley and Shane and Tess too. I like that dynamic.
Yeah, but I still don't understand why Alice doesn't hire Finley back on her set now.
Yeah,
because she was so good at that job. So good.
I know. I had that discussion with someone else. I think it was with Amanda. But like Finley as well, the way, jumping forward a bit, when she goes back to Alice and starts talking about like paying it back, I'm like, oh, why don't you hire her? Like, because Alice's show has way better benefits and pay, I'm assuming, than Dana's.
The
I don't
bar,
mean
yeah.
speak ill of our namesake, but
I mean, first of all, just Finley showing up that night, I'm like, this is a terrible idea. You've just got out of rehab and you're going to a bar for like a giant party, your first night out. Like, that seems like a bad idea. And then the second they're like, come back and work here, I'm like, oh, that's a really bad idea.
I know. I was really surprised Shane would offer that, considering I'm like, I just got out of rehab, right?
I know plenty of sober people who work in bars, so I'm not saying that like it can't be done.
Yeah.
It's done all the time. With Finley, and like literally she's been out for 2 seconds, so I'm like,
it's a timing thing too, because I even use the example of myself. Like, I don't drink, but I'm the one who makes all the drinks for the show, and like it's alcohol, and I'm coming up with the drinks because I used to work in a bar, but I haven't drank for years and years and years. Like, I would never, if I had literally just stopped drinking, I really wouldn't be like, let's name the podcast Drinks at Dana's and let me make drinks. Like, it some people never will get to that point. Like, I have a friend who their issue isn't so much drink, it's more meds and narcotics, and they're just open about like, please do not have any of that stuff around me because it's really triggering. And some people just have different lines. And Finley could be someone who could work in a bar. I know people that own bars who are alcoholics, but you have to get there. You can't just be like, I'm out one day and then back in the bar the next. It's even that mentality about like, nighttime can be triggering for people because that's when most people come home and drink. So it's just, it was, and especially when there's such an alternative. Like, Alice's show is such a different dynamic. It's a better job anyway, and she's great at it. So why wouldn't she do it?
And is Sophie still working on the show?
Yes, yeah.
So
That we didn't see that in this episode, but I know that she is. Yeah.
Last we knew, she was still on. Okay.
I mean, especially right now, like if you don't have stability in your life, it'd be different if like you're in a committed relationship and that's like a really super stable relationship, and you know, like let's say she was working back on the show and like that was like a good positive job, then it's like, yeah, then I could see her going out to bars with her friends and like being okay. But like to immediately everything's rocky, like even just her trying to make amends is not going smoothly, and So
I mean,
she's
even that,
obviously off kilter still, and to be thrown
but even
right back
that,
into that.
even that first night though, she had to go to a meeting.
Yeah, which is totally makes sense.
After she's been in there for a year.
Well, that part doesn't make
Yeah,
sense.
that's-
We ignore the timeline and concern in like relationship to her.
That's the motto of the L word. Ignore the timeline.
It is. Like, okay, it would make sense if she had been in for like 30 days or something. Because in my mind, I'm like, oh yeah, it's like, oh, but like she's been in for 30 days, and
Is this like
the
a
whole
dog
year
years or
thing
cat
just
years
does
or
not make
lesbian
sense for her
years
whatsoever.
where it doesn't
Some
actually
people
equal
are.
real years?
Some people are very like meeting driven though, that they will go every single day no matter what. So she could be just one of those people too, because she grew up in like a religious background, and like I know a lot of people who are religious connect with meetings because like the number one thing is, oh, you have to give yourself up to a higher power. Like I'm not religious, so like that doesn't really like jive with me that much, but if it works for you, then go for it. Okay, so now we're back, and Angie is quickly ushering Bette and Tina out the door, which I was like, oh, they just want like, I don't know. I
was
said this, I think,
surprised.
in my video too.
Yeah.
When I see stuff like that, like that's always what I wanted, like parents that were like them. So it's always like, appreciate your parents that like you.
I know, I was like surprised that she didn't even give her one photo.
I know, one
"Just one
picture.
photo."
Come
She's like,
on.
"Nope."
How about a quick photo?
Oh, that's a good idea.
No. Quick
Yeah,
one.
that's a-
No,
yeah.
okay, please.
Just
please.
one. No, please. Okay.
Fine.
But that was like the most authentic scene to me, though. I'm like, that's
Yeah,
100%
That's my
first day of
brother. Yeah,
college
he's like,
experience.
yeah, he's like, my brother did when I moved him into college though. It was during the pandemic as well, and I was like playing I have to go in quarantine for 2 weeks now, so you have to take a picture with me. But yeah, I was ushered quickly out.
But they were being
yeah,
ushered out because Geordie was coming over.
yeah. And then Tina basically changes her mind after she sees a little change in bet that she's going to go to this Las Vegas auction. And then we also get
But in the
Bet
hall, she
and-
said no.
No.
It was like,
she
"Are you
said no
going?"
Yeah, and she said yeah.
Did she?
She said no
She
to
said-
Alice outside.
Yeah, that's
before
right.
Bet.
No, Shane. To Shane. She said, "Sorry, I can't make your fundraiser."
Are you gonna go to the fundraiser tonight?
Yeah. You?
Yeah. I'll see you there.
And then
Big
2
check.
seconds later,
Then-
she's like, "Yeah, I'm going." I was like, "What?"
Yeah. Because originally she was like, I don't want to be around Bet.
I thought she had a
But then-
legit excuse.
No.
Like, I can't go for important reasons.
Important reasons.
I love that Shane and
Yeah.
Alice are trying to convince her that, like, oh yeah, Bette's really been working on herself, and
I know.
everyone's like, yeah, right. And then you see her
So cute.
being all nice and kind, and it's like, wait, really?
And yeah, when the scene's ending, Bet picks up the phone from Pippa. Pippa was supposed to be in this episode. I mean, the thing is too, like a lot of the stuff that people tell me is from like the original script. So I think she was, and they just either ran out of time or something and just put, because this was probably dubbed, to be honest. But yeah, it was. I don't know why they put her in South Africa.
Did they?
Yeah, they said, "Oh, you made it to Johannesburg."
Oh, can't remember that.
Maybe it'll be a convenient way. I mean, maybe she's cut out of any episode she was supposed to be in this season, and that's a
She
convenient
she
thing to do.
isn't in the last episode. I know she's in one. And yeah, people will be surprised what happens. I'll leave it at that. So no spoilers. But yeah, it was odd. Maybe because I thought they would have done something to like wrap up or even just show that her and Bet are still friends, but again, maybe they didn't have time. And apparently Bet and Bet apologized to Pippa, and they're good, they're friends. So somebody else said this to me, but maybe Bet Pippa was that friend that she could like really talk to Tina about, because as we know, Alice and Shane are like biased as hell, and they just want them to get back together, because all episode they were like running around like look,
The faces they kept giving each other. They were like.
Before we go to Vegas, we'll catch up with Shane and Tess and Tess's mom, because that's what the Vegas auction is for. MS.
Yes. I'm not sure how I feel about domesticated Shane.
First, can I say Shane's bowling shirt look? Like, what?
There's lots of bowling shirts in this season. There's lots of bowling shirts in this season.
Okay,
It's brought to you by bowling this season.
There is even bowling in this season.
I know, it's brought to you by the Lesbian Bowling League.
I'm sorry if that was Kate's actual wardrobe, but I was like, ooh, Shane, what does this look?
Also, the dog is back. Woohoo!
I was just opening my mouth to say that. Someone remembered. Someone heard me shouting about it last season. Where's the dog?
Yeah. And like I've said before,
Mick.
So like I said before that I liked Shane as like a caretaker, and that she was really good with like kids and, you know, her younger brother and stuff. But like the second this scene opens, I'm like, ooh, Shane caretaker, like not as good as I thought.
I think she was really good at it. Yeah, maybe she was good at the beginning, but by now, a year later, she's like, no, can't. I'm over it.
Yeah, I like pretty much immediately jumped on the Chris train of like, ooh, Shane and Tess together. No, I don't like it. Like,
no, I didn't like it either.
In this scene, like, I just completely see them as like boss and assistant, and that was like really, 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 really good at those roles. And then together, I'm like, I don't like it. Make it stop.
Well, it looks like it might, judging by the trailer.
No, Shane looks incredibly uncomfortable.
Yes,
and also uncomfortable getting busy with people in the house. Where I'm like, since when? Like,
I know, right? She's like, shush, people might hear us. I'm like, like every other past Shane has not cared about that.
Right.
We go to Dana's, and we know that they're having this like Vegas auction night for MS. Tess is like introducing it on stage, and then it looks as though Dani has like her own consulting business for like events and parties and stuff, and she is the person in charge of all this. I did kind of like these little moments where you saw like, oh, Dani and Tess are friends now, and there was like a Bette and Tess are friends now, because previously Tess didn't interact with like anyone except Shane and Finley. So I did like that, and it made sense because it's been a year, and you know, all of that.
My brain did not think about that it's been a year. I was like, since when are they friends?
I did have to think about it a little bit, like, because I'm like, wait, have they worked together before? Like, because
I'm like, have they even interacted before?
Yeah, no, that was one of those off-screen things.
Yeah, that's the yada yada part.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking.
Also, who was the cute butch that was doing the auction? Like, bring that person back.
Oh, typical our generation Q extra characters.
Putting the extra,
like,
the extras
we
in.
fulfill the entirety of the butch quota in extras.
Yeah, can we make a whole new L Word show with just the extras?
Like, yeah, all the butch, non-binary, etc., except for our token trans guy. Like, we just relegate them all to extras.
Yeah, it's like, oh, but they're in the show, so
at least they exist at all, which is better than the original. But
so you can tick it off. Tick.
Do exist.
Oh god, we got that one butch on the Les Girls set in the original. That was always like the person that used to come up to Tina and go, "Tina, they need you on set."
I don't even remember anything about that.
So Micah at the event is showing Dani the ring, knowing how this goes. That Micah proposes, and she says, I want to have a bit. Like, have these two spoken or talked? Like, I don't want kids, and I'm pretty open about saying if I start, because why would you waste your time with someone who you don't have these same fundamental goals about life? Like, that's a pretty big thing to be, one, wanting kids, and two, not want to get married. So I just don't get it.
Yeah, I mean, so many people don't have those conversations, and that's why so many marriages end. I think, I mean, it's part of it. So they don't talk about important stuff. They get all caught up in like falling in love. But
Yeah.
Like when Sophie
Idiots.
first sees the ring, that's like the first thing she asks, like, "Oh, you've talked about it," and it was like, "Oh no, like no, it's gonna be a surprise." Like it kind of seemed like, no,
Yeah.
we haven't talked about marriage. Isn't Micah a counselor? Like, you
Yeah.
should be better at this.
Yeah. Well, I don't know whether he's still a counselor because in season 1 he was a professor, and then
Oh,
in
yeah.
season 2
Said
he's a
something
counselor.
about that,
So
though.
maybe he's like an archaeologist
I
now.
don't know what he does.
How are you proposing when like Dani and Gigi are not married yet? Like they should be first. They should be getting proposals.
Yeah, I can't believe it's taken them a year to move in together.
Like a lesbian
Already
U-Haul
sorted
thing
out.
should have already happened.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, yeah.
Jeez, after one day, I'll be like, want to move into my house?
This can't be the first time you've had to get up early to go to work. Like again, that's
Yeah,
go back
it's
to, like,
fucking LA.
I hate time jumps because it doesn't make any sense. It's like you create the time jump just for Bette and Tina, and then had to figure out how to fit everyone else into there.
Yeah, exactly. Like,
They're our priority, baby. So most of the rest of the episode takes place at Dana's, so we'll go through each scene and we can start with the Finley Dani thing where Finley is
Trying to talk to Dani at like the worst time. But again,
Yeah.
Dani was a major bitch to her. Like,
Yeah.
Or when she was like, "Oh, you're not cute or charming," and that I find you
Yeah,
fucking annoying. I was like, "Oh!" But then at the same time, I was like, "They're gonna be
I
so hot
know.
if they get together.
no.
Just kiss."
Stop.
I was like, "Is this kind
No.
of like them setting it up?
No.
They're like putting the
No.
groundwork in to be like later on something's gonna happen." Yes,
I do
That's-
not
that's
want
where
to
I'm-
see it.
that's my ship.
Right.
Just
Well, you're alone after
Dani's
that.
hot. You ship her with everything. Like, she's terrible. No, stop.
That's where I'm placing all my bets.
And like I
She's
know,
just such a
obviously,
puppy.
I know she is but like and I know that the wedding thing and all that, but also I wanted to be like, Dani, you fucking won out of that situation. You
Yes.
didn't marry Sophie that you were toxic with, and you're dating fucking Gigi. Like,
Yes.
get over it. And
Get over
also
it. Say
say
thank you.
fucking thank you.
Yeah, she won at the
Say
lesbian.
Thank you, Finley.
Yeah, she won at the lesbian Olympics. You're the winner. Gold medal.
But yeah, so Bette and Tina, Bette gets there and her and Tina are just cordial to each other. And then Alice has her date Gen Z guy with her and looks like she wants to go. That would be me if I was at a nightclub. I'd be like, oh my God, I'm so tired. And I'm sober and
I
all these
know,
people
it's
are
past
drunk.
9 p.m., past my bedtime.
And then Finley, that's when Finley sees Alice and she's like, I love this bit.
Oh,
Alice
me
is
too.
like, you gotta stop Venmoing me random
Oh, no.
amounts of money.
I thought you were going to say the part where she thought that Teddy and Finley know each other because they're the same age. It's like,
Oh,
do you guys know each other? Like,
That's like people will always be like to me when I'm in the States, or it's like, oh my God, you're English? Do you know John? And I'm like,
oh, I get that too. But I liked when Bette arrives and she goes to Tina, "It's nice to see you out in the world." Like, do you
Yeah.
guys not go out into the world normally?
and she's like, you too. And then Alice is like, me too.
No, she goes, "Same." And Alice is like, "Same."
Then we have Kehlani enter the scene, enter the show. She has a relic of Shane's Shane product.
Yeah. I was just
Was
like,
it
is this
Shane-
who we did
Shane
instead
for-
of Carmen? Like,
Shane for wax. Yeah, I know.
I
It's
got
like,
that
oh,
vibe.
we couldn't get
I got that
Carmen, so
vibe.
here's
said
a.
Carmen.
If you squint, she kind of looks like Carmen.
Do you know what I think happened with like all this Tess, Shane, Kehlani stuff? I think that, well, this Marcia said that one of the younger writers were like, Kehlani tweeted about the show, and there's so many guest stars this season. Like they haven't announced them all. There's a shitload. And I think when they went to Kehlani, they said, do you want to be on the show? And she said, yep, but I want to make out with Shane. And they're like, okay.
We'll make it
Sign
happen.
here.
Yeah.
although, how did Tess not walk in on them? Like, who else was waiting for like the 5 minutes of that scene when Tess is
Yeah.
conveniently
No.
taking Bette backstage at the same time that
Yeah.
Oh, was she?
Shane and this makeup chick are having their little
No, I
intimate
was too busy
hairdressing
looking
moment.
at the actual scene and how hot it was.
No, I was definitely waiting for it to all blow up with Tess at that
Yeah,
point.
that's what I thought was gonna
fully
happen,
thought
too.
she was gonna walk in, and yeah.
And Shane started doing her.
Oh yeah,
For anyone who's watching on audio only, listening on audio only.
yeah,
She
the
just did
flips.
a little floop of the hair. It's like, oh my God, it's amazing.
Where
Yeah, yeah.
meanwhile, this
The
is
twist.
like a hair and makeup person, so her hair is already perfectly styled.
I was thinking that. I was like, when she was like, do my hair. I'm like, what is she supposed to do with it? Or was it code for let's have sex?
It's just this show. It's trash, but my trash. Kehlani's in like episodes 3 and 4, I think. But then I guess we see what happens.
Just long enough to cause a mess and then run off.
Yeah. That's what I mean. So, and then Alice and Shane each aren't in an episode. So hopefully that means the episodes they are in have got some, because Shane last season I feel like was real. What was Shane last season?
Yeah, nothing.
Like she had the poker thing for a few episodes, but then they forgot about that. So
we were all like, "Ooh, where's this going?" And then it went nowhere. It went into the black
alert,
hole of the L word. The L word black hole hat.
Yeah,
where all the good storylines end up.
Well, we pulled one out here, but I think I'm gonna have to fight you on this. So next is the auction for the Kiki Smith of Bette. Do you have any recollection of seeing these images?
Yes,
before?
I do.
Oh,
yes.
Miracle.
Only because we had to do a bunch of artwork stuff for the original website. We were very focused on trying to put up every single artist and everything that was in the show. I do remember this fawn, but I had to Google it, and it actually, here's a tidbit: the last one sold on auction between $4,000 and $5,000.
Yeah,
so
real, yeah. A couple of my subscribers have the same one. I'm sure most people remember this, that it was a point in the original show in Bette and Tina's West Hollywood house. She had this Kiki Smith print that was her first that she ever started collecting. And in season 3, when Bette's been fired from the CAC, they've just had Angie. They end up being like Bette and Tina financial difficulty, but probably not regular people financial difficulties. Key point there. And
hashtag first world problems.
Yeah, Bette's credit card gets declined once, and that's it. She's got to sell the Kiki Smiths, so she gets an offer from like her like private seller, and we see her wrap them up in season 3, giving us the impression that they're sold. And sometime between the original and starting in season 1, she got them back, because we see them in her new Silver Lake house in season 1. We see them just before Tina comes, and then when Tina comes in season 1, episode 6, Loose Ends, when they're sitting in the kitchen, the prints are behind Bette. I think it was Tess, maybe like not like a test, but maybe a little, they know each other pretty well. And if anybody didn't notice, the little paddle that Tina has the 17 on it.
10,000.
Going once, going twice, sold for $10,000.
Bette does have that line last season, like, I cheated on Tina 17 years ago, but I think it is in reference to the sign from season 4, 17 Reasons Why, that Bette, Alice, and Shane steal.
Are you high? This isn't realistic. This is fucking insane.
That's romantic. It is. Laugh if you want.
And it's like the romantic
full
gesture.
circle.
Oh, look at me. I'm so high right now. I off the L word. So, yeah. And then Tina does the big romantic gesture. And I also think we had some meta stuff here. I didn't mention this before, but Bette and Tina are talking about all the changes for season 9 with the showrunner. And
I know, I was trying so hard to figure that out.
This is season 9.
Oh.
What season are you in?
Oh, we got picked up for season 9.
Wow, that's incredible.
Now the showrunner is pissed.
Oh, no.
So I have to fly to Toronto tomorrow.
We are in season 9.
I was like, I knew they were talking about something fake that was something real, but I was like, wow, I don't know how it fits in. And also, I'm like, did I forget that Tina worked on a TV show?
Talking about managing big personalities, I'm like,
technical issue there. My computer, I got so passionate about Bette and Tina that my computer. I sucked the power out of my computer and it turned off. So
The energy had to go somewhere.
yeah, too excited. But yeah, spoiler alert: we are in season 9 right now, and
Makes a
that was
lot of
that.
sense.
But also the meta thing was the fact that like the only person who knew the real value of these prints was Laura Holloman, who's an artist. So there's like meta on meta and meta. It's a meta moment.
on meta.
Did I miss anything?
No,
It's by the very first artist I ever started to collect.
that's from our house in West Hollywood.
What we have
Yeah,
here.
it's cute.
So Tina does her grand romantic gesture and gets the prints, and Bette comes off stage and says that was unnecessary, and Tina says that they remind her of their house in West Hollywood and she didn't want someone else to have a piece of us.
I thought maybe time to let it go.
Yeah, but some things are worth keeping. When I see that print, I think of our old house. I think of us. I didn't want someone else to have a piece of us.
And then she's like, do you want to get out of here?
Wait,
And they
just
go back-
before though, there's that hilarious scene where Alice and Shane
Oh
are
yeah.
in the booth, and Bette sits down and like Shane and Alice aren't even looking at each other, and they nod like, "Yep," and then like, yeah, that was my favorite moment of the episode. They're just like, "Yep, bye."
And then yeah, Tina says, do you want to get out of here? Bette cuts her off. Yes.
Do you want to get out?
Yes.
Look.
And that was also a moment from the OG from season 5, episode 6, Lights, Camera, Action, where Bette says to Tina, do you want to get out of here?
Tina? Can I get out of here?
And they go back to Tina's and drink tea. And then there's a really famous sex scene, Honey, Honey. But we have to wait for next week for that.
But I love how Shane is like, finally.
Right.
When she
Yeah.
sees them leaving, she's like, finally.
I didn't
Funny.
write it down, but I feel like maybe it was just that phone call with Pippa. For some reason, I thought that they were talking, and Bette said something about Pippa, and we just get one little tidbit about Carrie, and Tina just says that Carrie won't even talk to me.
Yeah.
So I was trying to figure out like how Rosie fits into this season if they're broken up, and then she's like, and she won't talk to me.
My impression is that Rosie's gonna be nothing to do with she's not even in episodes that Tina's in. So I think they show Finley and her hugging in the trailer, but there's also a scene where it's like Dani, Sophie, Finley, and they're all like sitting at like a dinner table, and Sophie and Dani are like cheersing, and you can just see like it's Rosie's shoulder. And then there's a woman who's friends with Marja who had this big Instagram story about how she like cut her hair for this part, and she didn't say it was Rosie, but it sounded like it was Rosie, that she's going to be Rosie's love interest. And that I figured that out. And then at the end of this episode, when they show that trailer, that person is the person who's like, I'm Misty. And Rosie has like the bloody nose because she did like a TikTok with like fake blood in the summer. So I think that it's episode 7 that there's some sort of like bowling alley thing, because Marja posted a picture of it and said like, she posted basically a picture of like 2 hands in a bowling ball, and she said this was one of like her favorite moments as like a showrunner writer. And the shirt that Rosie has on in the trailer, it's like the bowling shirt, like the blue with white and orange crest, and the crew actually made that shirt, but a crew shirt instead of the bowling team. It has like the L Word Generation Q season 3 on it. So there's something with them going on in episode 7. So I think that, I mean, when I asked them, when I was on set, they had
Take a
to
shot.
they said Rosie was in 2 episodes, but then they were like, oh, I don't know whether I'm remembering that right. So she could be in more than that, but I think it's at least 2.
Yeah, it just threw me a little bit because it was like, okay, Tina and Carrie were like engaged at the end of last season, and then it's like we're just supposed to guess what happened with them.
Yeah,
But
it was just
meanwhile, Finley's been in rehab for an entire year, and like her and Sophie's relationship has not progressed at all. So it's like some people seem like frozen in time, and other people are like, "Oh yeah, that was way like last year."
Yeah.
So,
Yeah. I mean, I did offer to run the timeline for free, but no one took me up on that offer. So now they're gonna have to listen to me all season. So.
Yep. The whole fundraiser, I was also like, "Where's Gigi?" Like, Dani's. It seems like a big event for Dani, and like she's not even there. And then when she goes home, she's just casually in bed. Like, how was it? And I'm like, "Bitch, where were you?" Like, she should have.
They only had Seppi for one fucking day because they normally shoot 3 scenes a day, and Seppi was there for 2 scenes.
gosh.
So she was there one day, and I'm telling you, it doesn't get any better next week. So they had her for like 3 days total, I think, of filming.
That's insane.
Yeah. So then we have Shane and Tess, and this little scene that they shared this on social media a few days ago, where Tess takes Shane into the alley and shows her like an empty building. And it's funny because this where they are in the alley is like on location, like miles away from where
I was gonna say we went to Dana's and it didn't look anything like that. Like,
well, now they don't go to the semi-tropic anymore.
No,
they
I didn't
have a
think so.
Dana's on set
because I'm like, there's no way they're fitting a giant stage in that place.
No, and the Dana's that they film in, literally, like when Sophie and Finley are sitting on the ground outside, they are like 20 feet away from someone's house. Like there is a house right in front of them and an entire neighborhood. It's really strange. And that building that isn't around there. They had to go on location to shoot that and that building. So
Tess and Shane seem like they're in wildly different places in their relationship.
Oh yeah.
Like Tess is almost maniacally giddy. Like she seems very high. Like, oh, I'm happy and like my life is the best. And she actually says, I love our life together and I want more of it. And Shane just looks like she just wants less.
Shane just looks like that. Shane reminds me of that Homer Simpson meme of going into the hedge, like.
Yeah, I mean, isn't it Alice who even like tells her she looks like shit in this episode?
Yeah,
like she looks tired, worn down. Like, you know, my life is hectic. I need to take something out of it. And Tessa's like, "More, this is perfect. Like, I've never been happier." And I'm like, how are you so like not seeing the disconnect here?
This could be nothing. This could be nothing. But I have just been getting little like hints of Shane and like drinking. There was just some things that I was like, why are they? It could be the L word just pointing out weird shit like they do all the fucking time that goes nowhere
into the black hole.
Yeah, that thing is full. They're like, when she was like, whose is this? It's Bette's, and she just drank it. And then in the trailer, there's like her on the Halloween, like pouring like a big, huge whiskey. And there's just some other bits that I've been like, why are they pointing this out? But it could be nothing.
Maybe it's just like trying to show that she's unhappy or something.
Yeah, and it could be that.
Instead of her usually like going and sleeping with someone, she doesn't want to, so then she takes it out with drinking or something.
Yeah, maybe. So I think that would actually be quite interesting if they did something like that with someone like Shane, because there is like a thread, I guess you could pull on from the original when she used to go to clubs and like take oxy and stuff like that. So you could probably pull on a thread from the original, but
like, wait, so Tess wants to open another bar next to her own bar?
Yeah, I don't know what.
Or is it going to be just like an extension of Dana's?
Yeah, maybe
they just combine the two or something. Because I'm like, that would be weird to have a competitive bar next to your own bar.
Yeah, I would really prefer
bars next to each other.
I would really prefer if they go try and buy that place, but really they can't because someone else has bought it, and then Dawn Denbo.
I was about to say, is it Dawn?
And like her new lover, like
Cindy?
Bindi or something.
Bindi. This is my lover, Bindi.
Should she be dressed exactly like Shane again?
Yeah, she needs to be dressed exactly the same as that like Miami chic or whatever she used to call it. That was based on the real stuff with Girl Bar.
Yeah.
Yes.
She bar, Girl Bar.
But They should call this one Jenny's if they're going to do that. So
Yep, I agree.
So then we get Sophie and Finley playing strip basketball in the middle of the downtown LA.
I'm like, do you want to get arrested your first night out? Like,
I always pictured Finley, and I'm pretty sure she did previously wear boxes, like not boxes,
she
but
did.
the boy
boxer
shorts,
briefs.
Did we see her pits? Did she shave?
Oh yeah, I didn't check that.
Oh no, she had like her arms like
she did.
Down.
She should have been wearing some waxers. Have you seen that video of Seppi?
Yes.
Oh my god.
I have not. What is this you refer to?
Jesus Christ. the internet is free. Like, it's amazing. So the end scenes before the real super hot end scene, the Bette and Tina end scene, we do get that like montage of people all ending their stories, and I did like the way they did that, and then like we got the actual end scene. But I do maybe it's like the Grey's Anatomy
they do that
traveled my brain.
Yep.
But I do like the voiceovers. And then we kind of see like, you know, Finley going back to Sophie, and we see everyone basically except Bette and Tina. We see Shane with like her products, and you know, she's kind of having that
Shane and her products,
a box of products, and she's got her, I know this is the wrong word to use, but I can't not, wife beater on.
Yeah.
And then we had Micah propose to Maribel.
Oh yeah, but I'm like, when she's like, "Oh, I just want to have a baby," I'm like, wouldn't that have already been discussed?
Yeah.
And the fact that she's very outspoken, and I'm sure she would have mentioned something before about not wanting to get married.
Yeah, I feel like, didn't she mention it last season? Like, oh yeah, I don't want to get married. I feel like that's something that wasn't news to me. I was like, well, yeah, she said it already.
We see Alice closing her little age range, which good move.
Oh yeah.
Then we do have the Dani coming back to Gigi, segregated Gigi. In bed.
Makes me think like she broke her leg or something, and they're like, we're gonna shoot all your scenes in bed.
It's honestly one of the highest crimes the L Word has ever committed.
Yep.
It honestly is. Like, you could have had it all, and you've just thrown it away. So Dani has like a little, did not give us permission to move in. The way Gigi like didn't answer and like close the book, and like, and the book that she was reading was called Not That Bad, Dispatches from Our Word Culture.
I felt like, okay, I mean, we're gonna have an adult conversation now.
Yeah. Now the adults are gonna speak.
Feel like she was, I think she's gonna say something like Nat wants to move, or Nat's go, or something like that, because I feel like, well, we all know next week there's going to be... This is a spoiler alert. If you do not want to know any spoilers, no matter how big or small, skip forward 30 seconds in the podcast. Because we all know from the preview there's a car crash, and that's Gigi's like scene next week, basically. But she's fine. She must be fine, even though we saw the ambulance in those behind the scene pictures. But in episode 3, she's like, there's pictures of her like walking around in a dress, fine. So there has to be something else that's like makes this ghost from like 0 to 1,000, because Dani mentions here like, oh, Sophie's going to talk to Alice about me doing her 100th episode, and then we see Dani like throwing the water bottle or whatever it is at the car, and you can see 2 people, so I'm assuming that's Nat and Gigi. Will there be like, oh, Nat's going to move blah 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 and I'm going to go with her, or...
Or like Nat got offered a job in like Denver or something.
Yeah.
And she's like, bye.
Yeah, I don't know. That's just what I've been thinking. Her and Nat just get back together, or she just breaks up with Dani or something. But it's a weird one for sure. So now we go to my favorite scene and favorite moment. I've been waiting for 15 fucking years.
The bit you've already worn out your VHS, haven't you?
I've watched this more than 50 times, and not all for research purposes. So yeah, we go back to Bette's house, and amazingly, that random thing about her mom did mean something, from whether it was meant to at the time or not.
Is she still alive?
I wouldn't know. She left me.
Well, wouldn't it be amazing if you could reconnect with her?
No, it wouldn't be amazing.
How do you know?
Same way you know you don't like fucking scallops, Carrie. I tried it once and it wasn't for me.
I was so
Okay.
disappointed.
Okay,
You had
let's
to rewind
fight.
that.
Come on. Let's
I had to rewind that a few times. But
I need to defend
okay,
my
let me
heart.
let me tell you, Ash, the whole time I'm thinking they finally listened to Ash and Bette
Yes!
finally went to therapy and worked on herself. So this whole time I'm thinking, she's been in therapy for a year, like she's worked on herself. And then she says, I went to the silent retreat.
I went back to that silent retreat that I failed at so miserably before.
Oh my God. You know, Shane and Alice told me that, and I thought, no way. They're kidding.
No, they weren't.
I'm like, are you fucking kidding me? The silent retreat, and on day 2 you have an epiphany and fix yourself? I'm like, no, that's not how this works. No.
I know.
You need actual therapy with a therapist who's not named Bette Porter.
Yep.
Oh, I know.
But I feel like
we
they
can't
yada
have
yada-
everything.
I know, and I feel like that should have been a really important scene with her mum, and they yada yada over it.
I know.
I'm like, that would have been so great to see her like connect with her mum. Like,
But it was confusing because she said, I thought of my mom, but then she speaks as if she reconnected and had conversations with her. And I'm like,
well,
Do you know
because
what?
Tina
lot of-
says, "How was it to see her again?" or something like that, doesn't she?
Yeah, she did see it. This is also the thing that is difficult because a lot of people who watch the L Word are not English speakers, and a lot of people have come to me and said, "Can you just explain this to me?" Because and I mean these people, like they comment in my comments every week. They're
Mhm.
like amazing at English. Like I wouldn't even know that they're not English if they hadn't told me. And they have been very confused by this conversation. So she did see her mom. She says, how was it when I saw her, and blah blah, and I forgave her and everything. So she did see her, but it was an odd way of
but
like
it was like
phrasing.
they left out a sentence saying
Yeah.
that she saw her.
They did cut
Because she
some
says, I
stuff.
thought of my mom. Like I went back and like rewound it. Not like I talked to her, I whatever. She said,
But I think
thought
that
of her.
Yeah, but then that
What
led
you
her
said
to
it-
meet
yeah.
her mum.
I had this question that kept coming up in my mind, like just echoing over and over again. And it was, who taught me how to love? And I thought of my mom.
But how do you do that when, like, I thought she hadn't seen her since she was like 8. We didn't even know
Yeah,
that she
yeah.
knew where her mom was or
Well, that's why
how to
Tina's so
contact her or
surprised. Because,
anything.
yeah, because Tina's
Yeah,
like, "Oh my
she
god, you
probably
found
got-
your mum. How did it go?" Like,
But she's not like, oh my god. She's just like, oh
She
yeah,
was.
like, oh, I could just call her up. Like, I could have my entire life. It didn't make any sense to me at all.
well,
Yeah.
I thought Tina was quite surprised in that scene. She was very like, "Oh my god, wow, tell me everything."
I can't believe you found your mom. I have so many questions. Like, how did you feel, and what happened when you saw her? And just, I want to know everything.
Yeah,
Oh,
no, I
only
think if
because
it wasn't for
Bette
Laurel, yeah,
said
it
she
would
never
have been
only
like,
because because Bette said she never would. Like she never would. She wasn't interested in finding her. But I thought before
Yeah.
she said finding her, like as if her mom just walked out and she's had no idea where she's been for the last 40
Well, that's
years.
what I think she had to track her down. Like, she had to like
yeah.
physically
She
maybe
probably
get
got a PI. She's rich.
like a PI
so-
or a detective
Yeah.
or something.
But like, yeah, so there's so much missing there, you know?
I know.
Yeah, that's why I said that yada yada the best bit.
But honestly, in not in their defense, because this is they shouldn't do this, and they shouldn't be in this position, which is what I'm about to say, is that this is a spoiler alert. If you do not want to know any spoilers, no matter how big or small, skip forward 30 seconds in the podcast. They are only in 4 episodes. So I think if they had the whole season, this maybe would have been like episode 4, and maybe we would have seen the mom stuff. But they are like, we're on the clock, baby. Like we got to get going. And they had to yada yada it. But and I do think that I got it from across from Tina that like, and even from the original, like certain people will say like, oh, they killed Bette's mom off, and it's like, they didn't. Like, the only time they've ever mentioned her mom being dead, they've only ever talked about her leaving, not being there, abandoning the family, is in that straight and gay mixer in season 3 where Tina's with Henry. Bleh. And basically Henry has like homophobic friends who are basically like, oh, I bet your parents wish you weren't a lesbian. And Bette's like, my parents are dead. And I have one dead parent and one alive parent. And if somebody said that to me, I would totally say that too, because it
Mhm.
just is shutting down the conversation and a homophobe. And I just can't, I'm not looking at that and being like, that is the absolute proof she is dead. That was a weird conversation with a homophobe in fucking Dumpster Fire season 3. So,
well, yeah. Plus, I think we always took it to be like, well, she's dead to me, you know?
yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, I think I think the scene was, and there was stuff cut out of it too. So as well, like the multiple takes that they did too were like slightly sweet. Because actually, if you notice, because when you've watched it over 50 times, you notice these things. Laura Holloman's lipstick is like smudged in it's part of the scene.
Oh, it's like take.
So
50.
I was like, But my only other like this scene, I loved it. Obviously, like this scene was like made for me. That's like a huge Bette and Tina fan and obsessed with the L word. My one other gripe with this episode: could someone please not have moved Jennifer fucking Beals' hair out of her face?
Oh, I know. I saw that and I was like, I would be pissed if I was into this couple, but luckily I'm not, so I didn't care.
My thumbnails for my video.
I know. I was like, get the hair needs to like be moved.
You don't even know how much Chris is about like the perfect on-screen kiss.
Yeah,
and, like,
it has to be
how
visible.
exacting she is about it, and it's like the whole thing gets written off if like one thing.
The whole scene is ruined if you can't see it properly, or if they cut away too early.
And it's so short. The hair is in the way, and I'm twisting it in my head and saying like, oh, Tina, like, because Tina does normally like they're actresses. They both are like, okay, let's make sure we can see each other's faces. And yeah, because the whole thing, I just thought it was great the way they did it. Like, and I actually, if you go, I put a video up yesterday that is like all like the references and callbacks and stuff you missed about Bette and Tina in the episode. And I edited out the music from the kiss, and it's so much better without the music. Like there's like this little bit where they're like hi, and like you can hear them speaking, and there's some other passionate things, but yeah, it was so much better without the music. And I just like the way like it was just so believable, like their faces and everything. Like you saw them look like, and when I look at them, I'm just like, how do people have this chemistry after 20 years? Like, it's fucking insane. And they're one, like, it's not like, okay, they did this last week. Like, it's been years and years and years since anything happened, apart from just, they have good chemistry when they're not together too. But yeah, bottom line, I fucking loved it. Every
thumbs up
second
from
of
Ash.
Next time, move the fucking hair though, please. Thank you.
But I think Angie walking in at the end was all of us.
Perfect.
You gotta be fucking kidding me.
What the fuck?
She was just like, you have got to be fucking kidding me. I was like, exactly. That is us.
But it's sweet.
And that's the song comes on.
You were talking about the college scene before where she's basically like pushing him out of the room, like, I don't even have time for a photo. And like they both told her, like, oh, come home anytime. So her girlfriend breaks up with her. She's like, I'm gonna go home and see my mom. And it's like, yeah. Ta-da.
I'm assuming she leaves again, or I really hope they've got good soundproof doors.
No.
Otherwise, she's gonna be
somehow I don't think it's happening at that particular moment.
No,
maybe it's another day.
We pick up right where we left off.
It'll be eating ice cream and crying over the kitchen counter,
or Or Angie turns around and goes, nope, and just leaves.
Yeah, that's more believable.
Yeah, no,
So,
crying
yeah.
alone in my dorm room is better than this.
Yeah, then that bullshit again.
Yeah, I just see her just being like, nope, drama, nope.
Oh god, I love it. But yeah, that awesome. My favorite episode of Gen Q, my favorite moment. What can I say? I'm a absolute sucker.
This was a
You
treat
got
for the
me.
Bette and Tina fans for sure.
Yeah, it's
A
been
treat
a
and then also a
long
letdown for you saying they're only in
wait.
4 episodes.
Oh god, yeah. Listen,
Revolts. People are gonna be marching in the streets.
I know we have to sacrifice some things for the end of the season, but listen to me. I am a Bette and Tina #1 sucker, and it's 4 episodes, but they're a good 4 episodes, and the end of the season is going to be great.
Magical.
I'm just going to run it on a loop in my brain for the rest of my life.
You're like life made.
The payoff.
Yeah. Well, I've been working with old clips for like 15 years, so now I've finally got something new in there. I'm revived. A+, 10 out of 10. Bring me another one just like it next week, baby. Thanks.
I've got to go. I think I'd miss out. This is so much better than the first time. I agree.
Do you know if they're coming together?
Maybe.
God, I love the drama though.
What do you rate it out of 10,
With the
Jess?
hair out of the face.
Hair out of the face.
If the hair's out of the face next episode, that'll be my favorite episode.
Jess, out of 10?
I don't know. I might need to watch it again.
My rating is probably like a 7.
Boo.
I was gonna say 8, just because I really don't like inconsistencies of the time thing. Like, it's great. Like, I love like all the relationship stuff, but I take issues with the directions of some of the relationships, so it knocks a couple points off. If it was only Bette and Tina and like no one else in this episode, then it'd get a higher rating. If we didn't have any of the other couples and it was like just them,
then it'll be just the Bette and Tina show.
Yeah.
Yeah, the dream.
It used to be the Bette and Tina show. Remember, it used to be Bette and Tina show plus Jenny. Oh, and others.
Baby.
Yeah.
And a baby.
In a future episode, can we get like a flashback of Bette at the silent retreat and like
not being able to talk?
Yeah.
Like, how long was she there? Let's be honest.
Yeah.
I mean, Finley, 1 year in sober living, overkill. Bette,
not long
not
enough.
nearly enough time in the silent retreat. I don't care how long she was there. It's not enough time.
Oh god.
Apparently, she
But
was only
yeah.
there a day and a half, and then she had an epiphany and fixed
Yeah,
herself. So
she was good.
Yeah. She fast forwarded it.
right.
She's like, I'm good now. I can hug people who crash into me.
Foxworthy.
Yeah, Dan. Dan.
Oh gosh, don't mention him. Jesus Christ. The only thing that man ever did good was break an elevator. But so that was the episode, and safe to say we are back for 9 more episodes. Well, we'll have wrap-ups and stuff like that too, but this season is going to be amazing. There's a lot of good stuff too, even in the middle too. We've got musicals, we've got drama.
I'm still
weddings,
anticipating a major dumpster fire of a season.
I mean, they tease quite a bit at the end of this episode in the, this season on the L Word little trailer clip we got.
Which a part of me wanted to close my eyes, but the other part wanted to know, so I watched it.
Yeah, I'm really excited, and I think it's going to be a good fun season. Especially, I'm really looking forward to the last two episodes, and next week a lot. I think episode 4, where it's going to be it's a Halloween episode. We've got tons of guest stars in episodes 3 and 4 because obviously that's when some other characters are going. And I don't know, I feel like then because we're going to start to see like what they're going to set up for the season more, I think, like over the next few episodes, because we see like Tom coming back, we see you know, it looks like Tess and Shane are fighting in Halloween because Tess throws the water. So how's everybody else being set up for the season? You know, my prediction is that no one who was together in season 2 will be together by the end of season 3. I think Bette and Tina obviously like are going to be together, wedding, all that stuff, but they weren't together in season 2. But I think everybody else will probably split up and have new people by the time the season ends. We try not to include too much of like what's going to happen, but if you do want to know what's going to happen, you can go to my YouTube channel and I have videos upon videos upon videos talking about it. But yeah, we'll definitely be back next week for episode 2, Los Angeles Traffic. That have an imagine me and you moment going on there.
It's very inconveniently set right in the middle of American holidays. It's very inconvenient timing.
And they're not skipping any week. Because like last year when Dexter was on this time, they skipped the week between Christmas and New Year's, but they're not skipping any weeks. So the finale is going to be released on January 20th, and then the finale party is going to be January 22nd at the Real Dana's. I have bought my ticket.
I was going to say, I've heard rumors that you're going.
I will be there front and center.
You have to take cardboard cutouts of me and
crying,
Jess.
Fighting, all of it. All of it. I'll be there in the middle of it.
You can ask.
I have this. When I went to set, I got this little GoPro. So I had it strapped to my chest. I had my real camera too. And I'm going to do this. I am going to attempt, even if it's for like 5 minutes, I am going to try and go live at the watch party. And I will like record everything. But lots of people have sent me like messages saying they're going. Anybody, like I will be there. Come say hi, come whatever. I am just so excited to see
Jess,
this
maybe you should fly to LA.
Moment in history together with all the other L Word people. So I'm so excited. I'm so glad I bought the ticket on Wednesday, and then when the episode came out on Thursday, I was like, damn, I made the right decision here. I told all my clients are like, what, on Thursday they didn't see me, and like yesterday I was working on a video for like 18 hours. They're like, where are you? It's like, the L Word's out.
She's disappeared into L Word.
Don't call me until February.
I know. They're all like, you're going away to LA again? And I was like, yeah, you know, and they're all like, oh, your show, as if I am personally running the L Word. So in January it'll be very cold, dark, everything here, and I'm gonna be like, L Word time, baby, let's go. And then I'll be depressed when it ends. So yeah, thanks so much for listening, guys. We'll be back next week, of course. Go check out Chris and Jess's site, The L Word Online, and follow them on Instagram because they're always posting pictures, news, updates. And as I said, you can find my YouTube channel, Ash Silver, with all the videos about everything that's coming up on this season. And have an absolutely fabulous week. And we'll see you back next week for Los Angeles Traffic and some big L Word moments. So take care of yourselves, and we'll see you soon. Bye.
Bye.